Hey, what's up? It's Chris here from Chris's Sci-Fi Reactions. Today we're back with another classic Who reaction. This is the Dalek Invasion of Earth, Part 1, called World's End. Really looking forward to this, seeing the second Dalek story of classic Who. I wasn't too much a fan of the first Dalek story. I think it was 7 parts, and the story, I don't know, there was something about it. I think it was just the 7 parts, it was too long. I know this one is 6 parts. It will be interesting to see if I feel the same about it, or if with a different storyline it will be different. Obviously, I think some stories could be shorter than 6 parts or more. Let's see if this one is good enough for 6 parts. I'm hoping it is, and I hope you enjoy these reactions to Classic Who. So, without further ado, I'd say let's just get straight on into this episode. The fuck? The last episode didn't really end on a cliffhanger, did it? It was like previous stories had. So the screen's working now. Because at the end of the last episode, the screen wasn't working.
Deserted. Probably Sunday.
Uncanny. I wonder which era we've landed.
What was that, Doctor?
The Doctor doesn't usually land on Sundays.
Time factor, my boy.
Oh, a year or two either way.
Sundays are boring.
Well, I hope for both your sakes it's nearly your time, but bear in mind we might have landed in the early 1900s or the 25th century.
Well, it's still London anyway.
Yes. Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just having a look. You can't see much down there, can you?
Yes, that's the word I was looking for, decay. Most odd, most odd.
Doctor, what's worrying you?
Well, you take this bridge now. It isn't an easy task, is it? Look at all this neglect all over the place. Been abandoned, all of it.
There's always a mess with construction work, Doctor.
Perhaps.
Oh, come on, Doctor. Stop spoiling everything.
Oh, my dear, I believe you me. I wouldn't spoil your homecoming for all the world.
Still can't see much. There's not a sign of any people anyway. Ah!
Oh, my dear boy, you can't just whistle up men and material out of the thin air now, can you?
It's a warehouse over there, Doctor. I might be able to find a crowbar or something.
You can't lift
Dear
that.
boy, I never fail to be impressed by your optimism. You can't move that by sheer brute force. You were right. You need a cutting flame.
I know one thing for sure, Doctor. We better make sure we can get back into the ship before we start looking around. Just in case there's trouble.
Smart. Very smart.
Intelligent. That's good. But you know, young man, I have a feeling, or call it intuition if you like, I don't believe we're anywhere near your time, the 1960s.
I hope it is only an intuition, Doctor.
Yes, well, ask yourself. Here we are, standing by the Thames, and we've been here quite a while. How long? About quarter of an hour, 20 minutes?
Easily, but what about it?
Well, we shall be as quick as we can. And you bathe that ankle. What you need is a jolly good smack bottom.
That's what was said in Twice Upon a Time, was it? Or
Yes, that's all right.
forgot the name of the
You wait here,
episode.
then. I'll go and wet my handkerchief in the river. I'm sorry, Barbara.
Not sure hitting your leg is the best thing to do, though. I assume we're on location here, not... This isn't set, this is actually on location.
Let's take a slowly.
It isn't like this. The river's too quiet.
Maybe 100 years into
No
the
sound of
future?
traffic.
Not sure.
There's a strange poster on the wall back there. Just doesn't make sense. Well, off we go again. I'm sorry, Barbara. Is it selfish to want us all to stay together?
It is selfish, but a bit normal.
We ought to be able to hear something. I mean, it's ridiculous. Things have to stay as they are, don't they? Can't change.
I suppose so. Anyway, maybe they've done away with noise altogether. How's your ankle feeling?
That would be nice.
It's throbbing crazy.
Don't think this is wet enough. Hold on a minute.
Ah, here, look. Now then, at least we know the century, dear boy, look.
2164.
Okay, 2164. So that's 200 years in the future from when this was made. I wonder why he committed suicide.
Susan! Who are you?
You want to get killed?
Where's Susan? What have you done with her?
Mean the girl? Tyler's got her. Now, come on. We've got
Have invented some form of personal communication?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's a bit like a mobile phone.
Huh. A whip? Why?
Well, whatever it is, I wouldn't like to meet one of these fellows, you know. Well, I think we better pause in this search and let's get back to the others. Come on.
All right, you lead on.
It's nice to see a bit of, on location filming. Because I think on location filming always makes a story more enjoyable.
Quickly now.
What about Grandfather and my other friend?
We'll do the best we can.
That's not what you said just
Look, you
now.
promised you'd
Now,
find
there
a way
isn't
to...
time to argue. We'll collect your friends later now. Come on. Barbara?
But it's good that they've sort of kept the design, to the saucer type,
Why?
in New Who.
Tyler?
Yes.
Dortmund's on the rampage, and who have we got here?
I found a couple of them down by the river, open targets.
Well, we didn't know.
I suppose you didn't, but you know now.
Can you cook?
Yes, I can get by.
Good, we need some cooks.
Listen,
All right, let's get down.
I had a struggle with one of the robo-men.
Well,
Well, he was waiting for me. That means that we'll have to change the storehouse.
all right, tell Dortmund. Have you just come from there?
Yes?
These have got a couple of friends down there they want us to bring back.
Well, I didn't see anyone there except that I've nearly caught you.
All right, Dortmund, I know.
2 more pairs of hands. Good.
She says she can cook.
Oh, can you?
And what do you do?
I eat.
Look, I'll try and find the two friends and I'll bring them back here.
David, where are you going?
I'm down by the warehouse.
I like that.
Yes?
Ah, good.
I think that might be my favourite thing that Susan's ever said.
What attack plans?
Why are you sitting down?
I've hurt my ankle. What attack plans?
Come on, Tyler, get these people below. That's the way. I'll stay here on watch.
Yes.
I don't know. If you have a body to get rid of, I think it's a very good place to come to.
A dead human body in the river. I should say that's near murder, isn't it?
Bring out your dead.
Is dumping a body murder, though? Especially if you didn't kill him?
There they are. Must be them.
Cheerio.
Well, they're not likely to drink that, are they?
Well, the smell of it's enough.
Okay, so I didn't hear a mention about the plague, but maybe the Daleks
Yes,
used
you
a
go up that
plague.
way, Then I go.
Turn and dive in the water.
Oh, that's cool. I really like that, the Dalek coming out of the water. You know, it's pretty creepy, pretty scary. Seeing a Dalek come out of the water like that.
Now!
That's funny. Next episode, the Daleks. You know, considering that's basically the name of the story, the first Dalek story. I really enjoyed that episode. It kept me engaged, you know, I wasn't, you know, feeling like, oh yeah, gotta look at my phone to try and, you know, keep myself interested. It was constantly engaging and worth watching. Now, whether the entire story will continue along that line, I don't know, but certainly this episode was quite good. Obviously thinking that they've landed back in their own time, but realizing, you know, it's actually 200 years later was all good, and waiting to show the Dalek till the end, I think, was also good. But let's break it down anyway. We have the opening credits or music. I'll be interested to see when they change that, because I assume they're going to change it. Or maybe they won't change it. Maybe they'll wait till it becomes colour and then change it. I don't know. Here we have some sort of man walking into a river, basically committing suicide. Then we find ourselves on the TARDIS. The Doctor's looking at the control. The scanner seems to be working, even though at the end of the last episode it wasn't. The Doctor then says to the companions, you know, look, we're near some water. Susan realizes that it's an Earth reading. You know, they all get happy, understandably. Then basically Ian says, oh, you took us the long way round, but you got us here in the end. The long way round, that was also used in, was it Once Upon a Time or Twice Upon a Time? I forgot what it's called, but it was used in that episode with David Bradley in it. Capaldi's last episode. Here we have them looking around. It's all dirty, place seems worn out. Susan's climbing up to get a better look. Here the Doctor is thinking, oh, maybe it's not your time. Ian and Barbara, a little upset by that, feel like, you know, he's trying to spoil their homecoming. Susan falls down, damages her ankle. Okay, and then we find that the rubble is blocking the TARDIS. Not sure if you could get the key through there and maybe then push the doors in. Possibly, I don't know. Obviously, for the story, that can't happen, but Ian says we need a acetylene torch to break through it. He then sees a warehouse and says we need a crowbar, but no way you could lift that, one person with a crowbar. You'd need a cutting torch. Ian says we better make sure we can get back in the ship, just in case there's trouble, which is very smart. Nice to see Ian really putting the intelligence into it to make sure that they can keep themselves safe. The doctor's quite angry at Susan, basically blaming her for what happened, and I'm not sure if she's fully to blame. She might hold a little bit of blame, but that's all. Yeah, so then they say they're going off to explore. Susan apologizes to Barbara for what happened. Here we have some on-location shots, and I always think it's better when we go out on location. It adds a level of reality to the story, I feel. Rather than just being on a set. Here we have them entering a warehouse, looking around. Barbara sees the body in the lake. Oh, did she see? I don't think she saw it there, but she saw a sign that says it is forbidden to dump bodies into the river, which is a pretty creepy sign. Barbara realizes that they're nowhere near their time. Here we have the Doctor and Ian exploring the warehouse. They look over, see the power station, and I'm pretty sure this is close to London Victoria railway station. Because when I was in England once, I caught a train from London Victoria to Brighton, so I'm pretty sure that's where it is. The Doctor basically finds a calendar. They realise they're in the year 2164. Then Barbara can't find Susan. This man comes saying, you want to be killed? Come with me if you want to live. Here the Doctor and Ian find this person with some sort of cellular phone, I'm guessing, or something, or radio on his head. They find out that he'd been stabbed, murdered, basically. Here we have him still exploring the warehouse. This episode had a lot of the Doctor and Ian exploring the warehouse, and you'd think a scene like that, just exploring the warehouse, would make a story or an episode boring, but I didn't find that at all. Here Ian goes through a door that goes absolutely nowhere and nearly falls to his death, or at least to a point where he'd seriously hurt himself. We then have Barbara, Susan, sort of running to somewhere. All on location. Again, I think that really improves the story when you have on-location shots. That being said, if you've ever watched The Impossible Planet or The Satan Pit, I honestly believe, a really high-quality story, and that was all on set, so he'll seem to be walking in some sort of tunnel area. Then we get to this place. We're back down at the river with the Doctor and Ian, waiting for Susan and Barbara, thinking they might have run off when they heard the gunshots. Then we're at this location where there seem to be a couple of people here. Barbara's asked if she can cook. She said yes. Basically, this is an absolutely hilarious scene where this guy asked Susan, "What do you do?" And she just said, "Oh, I eat." And I think that is just so funny. You know, and maybe the best line she's ever had. Although she did have some good lines in the Sensorites. Basically, this guy saying that this guy shouldn't be out here. Predominantly, I'm guessing because he's in a wheelchair. But, you know, he can hold a knife like he did, and he can do everything necessary to basically warn or defend from basic attack. Especially if he has a knife and a gun, you know. So he basically stands on guard outside while they get inside. We're back to the Doctor and Ian at the beach. They find this sign that emergency regulations. It is forbidden to dump bodies into the river. And here I do believe Ian mentions something about a virus or plague, and I just didn't catch it, but I could be wrong about that. Here we have that guy trying to save the Doctor and Ian, or get them out of there, as these people with the helmets literally try and stop them from escaping. We then have the Dalek come out of the water. I really enjoyed that scene. That was another pretty good scene. And they see the Dalek for the first time since they did in the story The Daleks. Because I think they met the Daleks in part 2 of that story. Okay, so that was my breakdown of the Dalek invasion of Earth, part 1. Really looking forward to continuing this story and seeing how it develops. So yeah, I don't think there's much more to be said in this. If you want the full uncut, unedited reaction, it's available on Patreon, listed in the description below, as well as my social media accounts. If you enjoyed this reaction, don't forget to give it a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.